what Siddhartha Gautama saw in his meditation, and what it represents for all of us. The thread that connects us to transcendental truths is very thin, due to the crystallizations and models our mental patterns create, especially when we lack internal protocols to understand them. You search here and there, join some esoteric school, submit yourself to rituals, initiations, an endless number of degrees, and when you realize it, much of your life has been consumed by an initial expectation that never came true. Very little brought you the superior state you longed for. But that school is so good, some will say. The teachers are wise and teach well. So, what happened? Then I need to ask you, what were the reasons that led you to that temple? What did you want to develop? What were you really looking for? These are important questions that must be answered, because many times, a person leaves disappointed because they didn't find what they were looking for. And the reason is that the problem isn't the school. It's that the student didn't transmute their inner dramas. They didn't understand that true enlightenment only happens after dissonant emotions give way to inner peace. From a heart that has softened and no longer feeds conflicts, divisions, or misunderstandings, true light does not come from the outside. It arises from within the soul, which has been fertilized through personal effort and has learned to transmute the old clutter, the same thoughts and feelings that fuel the ego's dominance and the smallness of the being. Now I want you to imagine a wanderer walking with a heavy bundle on their shoulders. Wouldn't it be better if he first chose what to carry and left the rest behind? Wouldn't his walk be more comfortable? Wouldn't he walk faster? If you carry the same old ideas and beliefs wherever you go, the first thing that will happen is a clash of ideas, because what you hear will inevitably be measured against what you already believe. You can fill a cup that's already full. These internal knickknacks like personal tendencies, repressed resentments, attachments, grudges, and narrow points of view need to be recycled. They need to end immediately so the mind can open up and simply listen to what's being presented. Siddhartha Gautama, commonly known as the Buddha, was a prince from a region in what is now southern Nepal. Having renounced the throne, he devoted himself to understanding the causes of human suffering. At the age of 29, according to popular biographies, Siddhartha left his palace to face his inner turmoil, despite his father's efforts to shield him from the harsh realities of the world. Determined to pursue his path, he wandered the region, encountering many sick and destitute people from all walks of life, experiences that deeply shocked him due to the contrast with his royal upbringing. He then chose to renounce his fine garments and adopt the simple robes of ascetics, meditating for several years. Eventually, he felt the need to sit under a tree, known today as the Bodhi tree, and meditate until he found answers to the questions that tormented him. According to Buddhism, Siddhartha attained enlightenment after 49 days of deep meditation, and what he realized became known as the Four Noble Truths, which remain the core of Buddhism today. These truths outline the fundamental teachings that describe the nature of suffering, its causes, the possibility of overcoming it, and the path needed to achieve this liberation. Life is suffering. Life is suffering and will remain so as long as the individual refuses to acknowledge its true nature. Life isn't evil, but what we do with it can be. Buddha essentially taught that human suffering is caused by desires and attachments, and liberation can be achieved through self-knowledge and inner transformation. The cause of suffering. The cause of suffering is the desire to remain in a fleeting reality. If a person clings to their own thought and feeling patterns, refusing to see the implicit reality of all things, their blindness becomes their truth, and that truth becomes illusion. Therefore, believing that one doesn't need to question, analyze, or reflect on life's issues is like trying to live in castles made of sand. The cessation of suffering. The third truth affirms that it is possible to end suffering through the abandonment of desire and attachment. But one must first understand what they truly desire and recognize that the illusion of permanence can never satisfy their inner needs. The end of suffering comes with the end of desire, as soon as we realize that what we are desiring must be real and not illusions dressed as reality. The path. The fourth truth is the path, what the Buddha called the middle way, a method of living that includes ethical behavior, mental discipline, and wisdom. This is the famous Noble Eightfold Path. The Buddha's Eightfold Path is a set of 8 practices that lead to the end of suffering and toward enlightenment. It is called the middle way because it avoids extremes and promotes balance. Right view, understanding the Four Noble Truths. Right intention, cultivating intentions of kindness, compassion, and non-attachment. Right speech, speaking truthfully, avoiding gossip, lies, and harmful words. Right action, acting ethically by avoiding harm, theft, and misconduct. Right livelihood, choosing a profession that does not harm others. Right effort, making efforts to develop positive habits and avoid harmful ones. Right mindfulness, practicing present moment awareness with clarity and non-judgment. Right concentration, training the mind through deep concentration and meditation. The Eightfold Path is an interconnected and ongoing process. Progress in one aspect supports growth in the others. Through these 8 steps, a person cultivates wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline necessary for achieving enlightenment and freedom from suffering. Therefore, the awakening of consciousness means knowing yourself first. Only then can you understand what you are truly trying to awaken, because what matters is what you are truly seeking in your spiritual and human development. Wanting to have something is very different from aspiring to be something. The law of the mind that Siddhartha Gautama taught says that everything you think, you create. What you feel, you attract. And what you aspire to become, becomes reality. If man sees life as synonymous with suffering, it's because he's living it the wrong way. He must clean the windows of his own soul, reform his inner concepts, and reframe his mind. He must awaken from the hypnosis of old beliefs and move toward a perspective that involves personal effort, because as the Buddha said, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. It is founded on our thoughts. It is made up of our thoughts. If a man speaks or acts with an evil thought, pain follows him as the wheel follows the foot of the ox that draws the carriage. Namaste.